tell us what all you're into now, because it's not just KD Global Solutions anymore.
No, it is not. And so we became very successful. COVID was not very good to me in that business, and it's still a little tough if you stop and think. Our business revolves around national accounts and retail, restaurant, fitness. We currently do almost all the LA Fitness International stores around the country. You can attest to what happened during COVID, right? And so these brands were not building it there. So anyway, so pretty diverse, quite frankly. The only company that's close to that, there's a sister company. Okay. The KD Global does audio and video. Right? Okay. And security cameras. Right. The sister company does the music content, because wherever you're at, you're gonna, in a retail space, you hear music, you have to pay for that. Right. Because the artists and the producers, all those people need paid. So that company provides music content and scent, as you mentioned, which is pretty cool. Kind of a big deal. And digital signage. So it's a sister company that does different things, but it always works together. Those are the companies that are in the AV kind of business world for me. It wasn't maybe I owned a Dippin' Dots franchise. So
did you really?
Yeah, we did that for 14 years.
14 years.
I remember doing that business plan in Aruba on a family vacation, sitting on the beach, got the little kids running everywhere, and all my girls, 3 girls and a son, they were in cheerleaders. So they had cheerleader functions and all these things at camp and competition. There'd always be a line of 50 girls lined up at the Dippin' Dots thing.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Okay. So I did a business plan over a spring break, and we became Dippin' Dots owners. Franchise, had a store, and fairs and festivals. So we did that. And actually, it was a great thing because I taught the kids waiting on people. Yeah. Doing that thing was a lot of good.
So your kids worked at the Dippin' Dots?
They absolutely.
Oh, that's cool.
They absolutely worked the store.
I think that's one of the coolest things about business ownership is getting your family involved and getting the kids working at a young age and around dealing with people.
It's a good way to teach. Yeah. Not to say there aren't challenges. Their friends coming up wanting free ice cream and stuff. Right. And we're not.
Or kids just being kids.
Kids being kids, absolutely. Lots of stories.
No, get out of here, you little urchin.
Lots of stories I could tell you off the podcast. I really want to say this. But so that was maybe the first other business that we started. Sold that a few years ago, probably 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. But a very good friend of mine came to me and says, hey, very successful. Everything he touched seems to turn to gold. Gotta love that. And he said, hey, I got an idea. I want you to be my partner in this. And he goes, I want to meet you for lunch. This is in West Lafayette back in 2000. Well, right now it's been 11 years ago. Okay. And we sat for lunch, and he throws a business plan at me and looks and says, Cigar Lounge. Well, I said, okay, I might have 2 cigars a year, 3 cigars. He didn't smoke that many cigars. He goes, I want to start a cigar lounge. That is like the best of the best. I go, sounds good, but I know nothing about cigars, and I know nothing about running a bar. And I said, I don't think you do either. And he goes, no, but I know the guy that does. And so we're going to go in. We're going to partner up with him. You and I are going to buy him out. We're in West Lafayette at the time. This is in Indianapolis. And that was the creation of Blend. So Mark Holden, Corey Johnston, who owned Indy Cigar Lounge, who had one of 4 licenses in Indianapolis. Yep. The 3 of us went together and formed Blend. For anyone that's in it, it's a different cigar lounge. So we built it. There was a woman designer that helped us design the furnishings and everything. Really? Because we wanted it to be somewhere, we didn't want it to be a sports bar. And it was interesting how we actually determined what it was going to be, but we first determined what it's not going to be. Yeah. We didn't want it to be a nightclub. We didn't want it to be a sports bar. And somewhere in between, and have it a classy place. And a woman designer. So we wanted people to, the non-typical cigar, everybody's got in their mind what a cigar like. Guys in there smoky, you have to burn your clothes when you leave. That's the idea of it. We want to be the exact opposite. Yeah. So we spent $250,000 in every store that we built. We did have 4. We just shut Nashville down. Oh, you shut it down? Yeah. After 7 years, it was I digress a little bit. Yeah, it was the least profitable one. 2 blocks off Broadway and Tootsie's. It was a tough environment. It was the smallest footprint and the least attractive. I mean, you love all your kids the same, kids in this situation. Stores, Pittsburgh, the Woodlands in Houston, Indianapolis, and Nashville.
Ooh, okay.
It was the least attractive, and so we shut that down. It just wasn't doing well. So we now have Pittsburgh, we have Houston, and Indianapolis. And we were voted the best cigar lounge in the world, I believe, in 2016. So the three of us flew to Germany to accept the award.
Oh, that's cool.
So, and I, by no stretch of imagination, take ownership of how good we are. I had ideas, certain things we wanted to do, and leadership from Mark Holden, and then the proprietary operations from Corey Johnston.
Yeah. What's your most profitable store right now?
Well, Houston, the Woodlands just surpassed Indianapolis.
Really?
Yep, just surpassed.
Houston's blowing up, though.
It is. The Woodlands is spectacular, and gosh, I'm very proud of those because it's a unique, beautiful, and when you go in, you won't smell like smoke when you come out.
That's cool.
It's impossible not to have but you're not gonna. Some people are like, oh, this is horrendous.
Well, you go into the one downtown. It's in a basement.
Yes.
That one. I can't remember the name, but anyway,
I can't. But I don't want to disparage it.
But fair enough. Yeah, it's you stink coming out of there. Yeah. I love the smell of cigars, but like 3-day-old cigar in a sport coat. That's
a tough. It's almost like a speakeasy feel down there, and it's cool in its own self. And now there's another one downtown called Burn, and it's a beautiful place.
I haven't been in there yet.
It's a Rocky Patel thing, and I got to give them credit for what they've got. We're a little different. But we've got a what's called the boardroom at each of our locations, and it's a hidden room through a bookcase, and it's a membership to be a member to be able to go back there. One-time initiation fee, but we have Blend Limo, which is actually a Sprinter van decked out with TVs, and you're able ventilation so you can smoke cigars in there. All the boardroom members get to use that for free. We
had that at one of our trunk shows with Tom James. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I can't remember. I think it was my partner that set it up when I was there, but yeah, they came out and that thing was cool, man. That van is sweet. Cool. Yeah.
We've got two. Houston's got one. Pittsburgh does not. But so that in itself is again about creating unique, compelling experiences designed to exceed expectations. So that's $25,000. There's junior memberships. That's much different. It's only $5,000 now. Okay. But for the longest time, it was $25,000 to be a member. And you can go to any, not a year, just one time. Okay. And there were some benefits and things that you would get from that. So you can go to any blend and go through the board. They're going to know your boardroom, not a board member. There's a difference being a board member, that's ownership, or someone that's been asked to be on the board. But that's boardroom memberships. And we still have those today. It's pretty cool. So Blend was the cigar thing that I did. I've got this story is, how long do we have? Because
we got as long as you want.
The trucking story is.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Remind me the trucking story. Let me do the other businesses before I go to the trucking story. It's one of my favorite stories. But so the other one of the other businesses is I'm one of the owners at Prime 47 Steakhouse in Carmel, not downtown. I'm very proud of that and can take no credit for its operations and everything. That's done by a good friend and proprietor, Jeremiah Hammond. Okay. He is a bulldog. He's like the Bobby Knight of restaurateurs, man.
What's the steak that's named after you again called?
It's called the Arbuckle.
That thing is good.
Thank you. And there's another great friend of mine, Tom Fine, that they named that after him too. So anyway, it kind of went back like, I love Ruth Steaks, Ruth Chris Steaks. And I go, could you cook mine in butter? And so they kind of evolved into that kind of a thing, and they cut at your table. But so Prime 47 in Carmel is awesome, and I think it's about the experience and the people that work there is what makes it. We've got a great chef.
The staff there is incredible.
Thank you. And again, I can't take credit for that, but they are just good people, and you walk in, and for the most part, almost all the time, make me very proud when people say I've been there and they had a great meal.
Yeah, the experience there is great. So, same thing with Blend. Blend, I mean, it's a great place to go, and there are a lot of successful people that hang out there.
Well, you bring up I met some of my best friends right now through Blend.
Really?
Quite frankly. It's call it a bit of a brotherhood, where you can just sit down and you don't need to smoke cigars when you go in there. Matter of fact, probably 50% of the people do, 50 don't. Especially if you're a woman, maybe 20%. Yeah. But when you start a business, when 9% of the population of men smoke cigars and 1% of the women, you better figure out another way to get people in, and because you're going to have to bring in other people. And so we got great selection, but Blend is another place for exceptional experience when you go in, the way you're treated.
Well, and cigars just, there's something about them. Like you can build relationships over them, you know?
Yeah, and that's maybe a brotherhood, and I have 10 cigars a year, maybe, but
it's
never.
Kind of
you know, in the house that you were at at Emerald Viking.
Yeah.
Do you remember the cigar room I had?
I don't think you ever showed me that.
It was in the lower level, right off the wine. So try not to right off the wine. But it was a room that, and I didn't build it. It was a room that they had as a wine tasting room. So I put the ventilation in, a supply air and ventilation, and smoke eaters and TVs, and it was an amazing place to go and sit and have a cigar.
I had
with friends.
One of my friends' dads in high school. He had a house in Indianapolis near Blend, and he had a humidor room as well. Hopefully he never listens to this podcast, because I'm going to reveal that both me and one of my other buddies took a sip of his Blue Label Johnny Walker. So don't kill me. But yeah, he that was such a cool, like, we just sat in there and just like, oh man. Yeah. Anyways.
Well, that house, cool. Again, digressing, but that house was, I can't take credit for any, because it was the Homerama home in the neighborhood of Viking Meadow in the gated community. And it had so many, it was a ranch with a finished lower level and had an elevator. So it had so many cool things.
It was badass.
As they do. But when we sold it, the realtor told me, Mike Deck, who's a great realtor in this area, recommend him. He's just a good person, as well as a realtor. But he would say, everybody, for the men, the women are looking through, and the men, that was the thing, that cigar room. Even if they did, but it was just the thought. So
I'd love to have one.
Anybody that is thinking about doing something, if you had a cigar room or a wine room,
good sale point.
Good sell point. So that's Blend, and we talked about this Prime, and in the last few years, I started Arbuckle Robotics.
That's right.
And Kurt probably talked a little bit about that. I won't go into too much detail.
Well, and that's recently taken off.
Well,
too, hasn't it?
Especially in the floor cleaning. It's I'll be honest with you, a lot of you're seeing it in some hospitality where robots will come and bring food and things like that. I wouldn't say it's fine dining, but the floor cleaning opportunities are probably what's going to explode. So that's that part.
How soon do you think it is until you see? Because like something I looked into recently that I personally invested in is the EVTOL. That's the acronym for it, but it's they're essentially electric drones that fly cargo and passengers.
Okay.
So my question for you is how soon? Because those are starting to come up, right? Amazon's already using them in some states.
Yes, they are.
I haven't done a ton of research on where they're using them yet, but they're the defense systems, or what am I trying to say? Secretary of Defense, whatever they are, Defense Department. There we go. They're going to be using them at some point in the future, and United Airlines is also going to be using these in the future.
You're telling me things that's outside the realm of my intelligence level and capabilities. So I've just chosen a certain sector or vertical in that whole world of robotics.
But robotics, where I was going with that is how soon do you see robotics blowing up in hospitality, in restaurants?
There's a place for it. You see it in, let's say, a lot of Asian restaurants, quite frankly, are doing it.
Okay.
You won't see it probably in fine dining,
right?
Because of the experience and the personal aspect of it. But I see it in country clubs, and I can see it in a lot of areas where robots just, server can put the dishes on it.
Yeah.
The robot takes it all the way to the kitchen and allows the servers to do something that's more attentive to the customers, so to speak. So
is there any particular company that is building these things that would be a good company to invest in?
Well, I know we're getting our robots from a place called Pringle Robotics out of Peoria.
Okay.
But I know there's other robots that are good, and so I guess I can't. You wouldn't want me to give you that advice because I'm not sure I have the right.
Fair enough.
If I knew, you'd be the first to go tell you and let people run.
We can all be millionaires in a few years, right?
Stock advisors. So, and then the other one that is incredible is the weapons detection business. So the weapons detection business we started last year, and it's think of it as the metal detectors that you go through when you go to a ball game, stadiums, everywhere. And this crazy world in which we live, it's sad, but you're hearing people shooting the guns all the time. Yeah. So this is a different, we call them gateways. You have to walk through them, but you can walk through with your phones, you can walk and your keys, and it's not going to detect, because what you want you to detect is revolvers, firearms, knives as well. So that is going to just completely take over, I think, very, very soon.
Really?
So especially with the school systems that are already looking at it. Right now,
Kurt's told me that's one of the like main clients.
That's
at schools.
It's going to be start as soon as the next version of the weapons detection system gateways where you walk through. Right now, it'd be way too slow. It's going to be too many false positives, backpacks with kids, computers and stuff. But that's coming where it's going to be able to differentiate. Then schools are going to get it, and it's kind of AI, and it doesn't look like the old metal detectors that like you walk through and under. Nothing like that. It's beautiful. We put wraps on them. Wraps meaning decals. We just I just got back. Oh, I'm sorry. We got back this week from the VA hospital.
Oh, cool.
In Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. First time I've been to a VA hospital. It's humbling. All the veterans there that are challenges. But anyway, at all their locations, and here locally, we just installed at community. The community hospitals situation. They've got a great CEO, and they've got an amazing guy named Kevin Mahan, who's vice president of basically security at community hospitals. And they're going to be installing the weapons detection. We've installed 11 towers so far, 11 gateways. And the data that they are providing us for the number of handguns and knives that they're catching is mind-boggling.
Really? Now, well, and is that just because of where it is, being a VA hospital?
Oh, well, and I refer to community hospital.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We just installed Richmond. We haven't got any data there yet. But the community hospital network here, it's been installed for maybe 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
The data is mind-blowing. And what's interesting is what's actually even a better data than the number of knives and revolvers they're catching is the number of people that they see come up and then go back to the parking lot and then come through. So meaning they've got one of those and they're taking them back to their vehicle. So that weapons detection business is spectacular. We've done Madison Square Garden, Radio City Music Hall, Tesla plants, and cool. One of the coolest ones is the Sphere in Vegas. We just put the system. If you know anything about the Sphere, look it up. It's the most amazing thing, I think, maybe physically that I've seen. It should be like the ninth wonder of the world or something. So it's currently operational in Vegas, the Sphere. So look that up. It's incredible.
I've heard, there's apparently a UFC fight there in 24 sometime. One of my friends, he's like, we should go. I think it's maybe the debut one there or something like that. Well,
U2 opened in September or late August.
Okay.
There. But it's a $2.3 billion project.
Jeez.
And it's audio. It had 161,000 speakers. And the LED is just unbelievable.
Did you guys get to bid on that project?
No. You
wouldn't be sitting here right now.
I know that I know. I couldn't have done that.
Yeah. Oh, so, man. That's crazy.
Those are set up for failure. So, anyway, the weapons detection business called CK2 Technologies is great.
That's going to be great.
I have an interest in a medical device business, not the manufacturing of it, but the distribution and dealership of it, which is amazing. It's called ARPWave.
Yeah, we got to use that. Yeah, you introduced me to your buddy that. Yeah,
it's great. In the physical environment, it's been many of the major athletes around the world have used it and are still using it. So that's it's helped me for sure, and I highly. ARPWave is an awesome product.
Yeah, similar to a TENS unit, but different. There's a lot more.
That's correct. People would go, "This is a TENS unit. It's electrical, but it has to do with the waves." And I'm the wrong guy to explain this, but it has to do with the wavelengths, and it's direct current versus alternating current, and it's an amazing product.